Hey, everyone. How are you? Dee Spur here coming live. Hey, I just wanted to share a little bit with you about me and who I am. So, for those of you that don't know me, I wanted to share something that I've kind of kept confidential and kind of control on my own and not really expose myself, but I do suffer from anxiety. So it's funny when you realize this as an adult, and I know it's more common to hear anxiety and the struggle of it, but if I realistically look at my childhood and see different things that occurred, which kind of triggered that anxiety for me. Now, as I have aged as an adult and I am where I am today, I still have anxiety. It's not as big of an issue as it used to be because I've learned how to control it, and I will share those tips with you of what I did. But just I remember things I remember when I was young. Let me tell you, school was tough for me. One, I was an introvert. I was very shy, and a couple reasons being is I felt as a redhead, I didn't like it. I was like, why do I have to be different? So that triggered anxiety at me. I felt kind of like an outcast a little bit. And of course, back in those days was when I was in elementary school, what did we do, guys? We went to the public pool all the time. So what did that do? It turned my face red. It was peely. I had freckles everywhere. And I just hated that. And I just begged and begged and begged, please, let me color my hair. Let me change my skin color. And my mom would always tell me no, that I was beautiful the way I was. I didn't understand that as a young child. And so every year I remember, and I didn't understand why, but the first probably, and this is no joke, guys, probably for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I cried every day. Every day. It was so scary and so sad because I was such an introvert. I wasn't outgoing. It was difficult for me to make friends. So I just kind of always, stood in the back. And because I was crying all the time, nobody really addressed that. The teacher kind of put me off to the side. And, my mom explained to them before school starts, she's very emotional. She's shy. She's probably going to cry. So everybody just dealt with it, and didn't really come to me trying to figure out solutions. So, hey, Debbie. Hi, guys. Thanks for jumping on here. Please drop below if you've been on my video before. Put a number 2. And if you are a first timer, please put a number 1 in the comments. Thank you, guys, for being here. And please share this video just because there may be someone else that suffers from anxiety. So, what's interesting is I'm not sure where the anxiety exactly comes from, if it's genetic, if it's something that happens in your life that kind of triggers the anxiety. But I also remember one thing that I struggled with as a child is when I did get friends and we would hang out and I was comfortable with them, because it took time for me, because I was shy, to get friends. And so when I would have a friend and they would ask me to spend the night, I was super excited and I couldn't wait. And I'm like, finally, I have friends and I have, someone inviting me to do something. What happened, guys? My anxiety kicked in so bad, like 10 minutes before it was time to leave, that I couldn't go spend the night with someone. So I had to come up with little white lies and look at my mom and say, what do I do? How do I control this? Why am I so scared? What was it inside of me that I was so frightened of? So, I just dealt with it, and I would take and I would put get on the phone and, explain to the friend and make up some story that, I got in trouble, or my grandma called and I had to go help her, or an aunt, or whatever the situation was. And that made me feel really bad. I didn't want to do that, but I wasn't brave enough to tell them the truth. So it's a struggle. So I know in elementary school that was a huge struggle for me. I believe when I went to like junior high and high school, they were separate. We went from 7th grade to 9th grade and then jumped to another school from 9 to 12. And those were big issues. So it was a lot of change that I suffered from, because when things change, that means new people are being brought around you. So a lot of that I figured was social anxiety. I had a ton of social anxiety. I was okay around 1 or 2 people, but you put me in a group. Hey, honey, how are you? Thanks for watching. You put me in a group of people, and I started having a hard time with eye contact, or looking directly. So I felt, oh my gosh, they don't think I'm paying attention, or they don't think I like them because I'm not able to make eye contact because I was scared, and the self-esteem there, it just wasn't there. So I had to really struggle, as a child and in through my teens and, becoming an adult. And then, of course, when you're adult and you have kids, you've got to stick up for your kids, right? So with my anxiety, it was more difficult to do that. But I tried and I coped and I, looked and I read and I tried to find out. And of course, back when my kids were little, you didn't have the big old, Google where you could say, how can I stop my anxiety? Come on, help me out. And you didn't have social media to where you could put on, I need prayers, or I need, someone to think about me or say something, or I just need someone to talk to. You didn't have that. So now that we have this huge internet and people around us, those are different things, guys. You can get on Google and search. I'm here. If you have anxiety, I get it. I know all about it. So it's interesting because anytime there was issues, with anxiety, maybe losing something or someone, that would definitely trigger my anxiety. Like I said, people would trigger that. Anything new, speaking in public, oh my, if I was in school and that teacher looked at me and said I had to do something, that I had to stand up in front of the class and talk, I couldn't do it. I just didn't do the lesson. I just failed because it suffocated me. And that's what anxiety feels like. So if you're looking at me and saying, what does that feel like, Dee? Please tell me, what does anxiety feel like? Well, what happens is it comes on like that. You don't know when it's coming on. You don't know how it's coming on, but there's things that are being triggered. So I think about things in my life. One big thing for me is stress. A lot of my anxiety is stress induced, and I know sometimes when my stress is higher, I have more anxiety. So I work really hard at keeping my anxiety down low. And one thing, guys, let me tell you, I am in such a great relationship right now, and you guys know Brad. I can talk to him about this and I can explain this to him, and you know what he does? He gives me a hug and he says it's okay, and he says he's here. And that is so helpful when you have someone like that. I never had something like that, so therefore I kept it all in and I was trying to figure it out on my own. But when you have anxiety and you can talk to someone and express it, and someone, hugs you or understands and looks at you and says it's going to be okay, the anxiety kind of disappears. So the other thing, is you just have to do different things. Some people may have anxiety because of a sound. Some people may have anxiety because of, being in a car. There's all kinds of different triggers for everybody. So you have to find what your triggers are. Mine, believe it or not, it's being in a social, situation. That's a huge, anxiety trigger for me. I've worked really hard with putting myself around people more and more. Some people don't even know. The only time it really shows is, I've been trying to teach some classes, different things, and if the crowd or the group is too big, it triggers in a heartbeat. So I thought, you know what? What do I need to do to fix this? So you know what I do? I keep putting myself in big crowds, because I feel like the more I expose myself to that, the more I'm going to feel comfortable. And then the anxiety just kind of settles down and goes away. So these are things that I do to help with coping with the anxiety that I have. I do when I feel it coming on, I start taking deep breaths. I kind of step back just for a second, kind of put myself together, talk to myself, tell myself it's going to be okay. You know how to handle this. And nobody's going to make fun of you, and nobody's going to say bad things. And, it's not that, someone's going to beat me up or anything like that. So I just kind of breathe and take a step back. And then actually I can move forward a little bit. So the other thing I do, I do maintain my eating habit. I try to eat real food. I try to not put anything that's, whether it's, processed foods or high sugar foods, or another thing lately is chemicals, guys. I am slowly switching out all the chemicals in my home, from soap to dish detergent to laundry detergent to deodorants to makeups. I'm going all organic, all natural, because I know what my body, what I put on my body or in my body, that's what my body absorbs, and you are what you absorb, right? We've heard that before. So again, guys, thanks for jumping on here. If you are on here, please share this video. Please, again, drop a number 1. If you're new to my videos, please put a number 2 in the comments. If you have seen my videos before, give me some hearts, guys. If you understand what I'm talking about, give me some thumbs up. If you can relate and you have anxiety yourself, I would love to talk to you guys about this. So, the other thing that I do that I think is super important, even if you don't suffer from anxiety, take time to yourself, guys. You know what I do? My favorite thing to do? I go get massages. That really helps with the stress in your body. And when you get that massage, you kind of can go to a place and you kind of just zone out and you don't think of anything. And it really feels good. Another thing that I was huge in doing is running. Running was a huge stress reliever for me. It's funny because I do wear headphones when I run. So I kind of put them in and I shut everything off to the world and I just listen to my music. The other thing I do is I count my steps, which is, I know, maybe kind of weird, but I do count each step I make when I'm running. So that kind of, puts everything kind of, just, I don't know, it does something to my mind where it just goes blank and I don't think of anything, and it just is a huge stress relief for me. The other thing I do is I really, really try hard to sleep well. Sometimes I struggle with this. I sleep a lot better these days than I used to. There used to be some things in my past also that when I feel more comfortable, I'll share with you, that were huge stress and anxiety triggers for me. So I've learned to deal with those. I've had friends give me books and, self-help, let's try that again. Self-help books, right? to read and to really just keep improving myself and make myself better. And the other thing, this is huge, and if Brad's on here, he's probably going to give me some thumbs up or some kind of weird emoji. And by the way, guys, today is National Emoji Day. I didn't even know that existed until maybe an hour ago. And it's National Emoji Day, so drop me some emojis on this video. But the thing that's huge for me is I have to accept I'm not in control. How many of you, let me see the raise of hands, try to control everything? I hate even saying that out loud. That's awful. I'm such a control freak, not only here at home, if I go out, if I'm at work. It was so funny. I didn't even know this about myself probably until the past couple years maybe. And I looked at people when they told me that, I was like, you're crazy. I'm this shy little introvert. How can I be controlling? Duh, no way, guys. So it was funny when that was brought to me at work and I was controlling, and I thought it was just me trying to be the best I could be. But in a way, it was controlling. I wanted everything perfect, but I think that comes along with my personality. When I met Brad, the funny thing is, and he doesn't obey this rule, but I need to talk to him a little bit more. I was like, look, dude, one thing is everything in this house has a home. If you get it out or if you use something, put it back in its home. And then plus you'll always know where it is, right? So I was just, I liked things being my way. I like things being put where I put them and there when I need them. And, I was one of those ones that, I don't use a dishwasher. I wash the dishes because the dishwasher isn't good enough. And I use my dishwasher as a drying rack. It's supposed to be washing the dishes, right? So, Brad deals with it. He loves me for who I am. We butt heads just a few times because I'm so controlling. And it's funny because I laugh about it now because I didn't know that's who I was, but that was all because of the anxiety. If I could control everything, I was controlling the anxiety because nobody was going to rock my ship, and I didn't have to be unbalanced. I didn't have to worry about my heartbeat racing and being out of control, right? So guys, those are the tips that I have. I wanted to share that. I'm going to be sharing more things with you about this because I think it's real. For any of you that don't know, I am 47 years old. My life is so different, guys. I feel so good. I feel like I'm in my 20s. I feel better now. I don't know. I always heard people say the older you get, the more wise you get. Well, hello. Things are starting to click, and I feel really good. So guys, if you're ready to feel good, if you're ready to change and you're ready to eat healthy, give me a buzz. Let's talk. Just hang out, be friends. Everybody needs a friend, right? We can talk about anxiety and can laugh about anxiety. We can cry about anxiety. I don't care. But guys, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Julie. How are you? Barbara, thanks for being on here. Anxiety is tough, honey. I know. And, you just do what you got to do and you push through. I'll just add this. I used to be the one that, the doctor would prescribe you something and it wouldn't work. And I would be crying because it wasn't working. And, I hated being on all those prescriptions. And that's one thing that I've done for the last probably 8 months is, wean off different prescriptions that I was on because I am about supplements and natural health and finding things in our natural, products to help with anxiety. Like I said, I do still supplement for that, and it helps me out a ton. So guys, just kind of tell me, who you are and what you're about, and have a little comment down there. And thank you for joining me. Please, guys, if you could share this video, maybe someone out there is also suffering from anxiety that could really use some help. Also, guys, be nice to everybody. Everybody has a problem. Everybody has a situation. We don't know if they're having a good day or bad day. So cheer them up. Just go up and compliment them and say, hi, how are you? And introduce yourself and say, have a great day. Do that. Guys, thanks for checking me out. I love you guys. See you later.